Distributive property, one of my favorite properties, probably my favorite property. It's lesson 6.EE.3. We're going to write equivalent expressions using the distributive property. So our vocabulary term today is the distributive property. So you can write this definition down, but it's not going to make sense. I would just write down the examples. The distributive property means multiplying a sum by a number is the same as multiplying each part of the sum and then adding them together. Here is what it looks like when you use variables to show the distributive property. A times B plus C. Okay. Some of us aren't realizing that something in front of parentheses, like the A right here, means multiply, but it does. A times, we call it the quantity B plus C. So A times that sum is equal to A times B, this means multiply when the variables are next to each other, plus A times C. In other words, when I'm multiplying the A times what's in the parentheses, instead of adding up the B plus C first, I can multiply A times the B, that's right there, and the A times the C, that's right there, and then add them together. So let's look at some number examples. If I'm multiplying 2 times 3 plus 4, instead of doing 3 plus 4 and getting 7 and multiplying 2 times 7 and getting 14, instead of doing that, I can multiply 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4. And that will give me 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2 times 4 is 8. That gives me 14 also. When I'm using the distributive property, I will almost always draw these little rainbows in to remind me to multiply the number in front of the parentheses times everything inside the parentheses. And I would recommend you doing the same thing. Okay, let's look at another example. Here is an algebra example. We've got 2 times x plus 4. So you can multiply 2 times both of the terms inside. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4 is next. And now you get 2x plus 2 times 4 is 8. So that's the final way to write that. Okay, so notes, write these down. To write an equivalent expression using the distributive property, there's only one step. Multiply the number by every term inside the parentheses instead of adding the terms first. Okay, that allows you to not follow the order of operations. Order of operations says you have to do what's in parentheses first. The distributive property says actually if you're multiplying the set that's in the parentheses, you can multiply by everything in the set. Okay, here are some examples to put into your notes. Use the distributive property to multiply 3 times 5 plus 4. So we're not going to add the 5 and 4 first. We're going to go 3 times 5, that's 15, and 3 times 4, that's 12. That ends up equaling 27. Okay, another example. We're going to rewrite 2 times m plus 7 using the distributive property. So I'm going to use my rainbows. 2 times m is 2m, and 2 times 7 is 14. It's that easy. So these are equivalent expressions. Rather than write 2 times m plus 7, you can write 2m plus 14. It's exactly the same thing. I could show this using an area model, which I'm going to do in a little bit. I guess I've got nothing better to do, so I guess I'm going to show you right now also. So 2 times m plus 7. Anytime we're multiplying, we can use the area model because finding the area uses multiplication. So the two things that I'm multiplying are the 2 and the m plus 7. I'm doing 2 times m plus 7. So that would be finding the area of a rectangle that has a width of 2 and a length of m plus 7. So that would be something like if it was divided here, and this length here was m, and this length here was 7. The overall area would be the sum of the two boxes. So the area of this first box would be 2 times m. The area of the second box would be 2 times 7 because this side length's 2. Because this side length's 2. So 2 times 7 is 14. And yes, I recognize that I didn't label the box very well. It's not in proportion because 2 looks a lot longer than 7. Not a big deal. Okay, get the idea. Get the idea that when you multiply 2 times m plus 7, it's the same as 2 times m plus 2 times 7. 2 times m, 2 times 7. Okay. Next and last example that you need to copy is use the distributive property to multiply 4 times 68. This is a way to mentally multiply it using the distributive property. So to use the distributive property, you need to have parentheses. So what I do is separate the 68 into 60 plus 8. You with me so far? 68 is 60 plus 8. And now I'm going to multiply 4 times that. And I wouldn't actually write this down, but I'm writing it down so you can see what I would do in my head. I would do 4 times the 60, that's 240, plus 4 times the 8, that's 32, and that would equal 272. So if I was to do another problem, such as, don't write this one down, 3 times 57. 3 times 50 is 150. 3 times 7 is 21. 150 and 21 equals 171. It's a good mental math strategy. All right, examples you don't need to copy down, but you really do need to pay attention to them. Tia plans to have a swimming pool in her backyard with a length of 9 meters and a width of 7 meters, as shown in the following diagram. Now, you're going to want to know which is the length and which is the width. So the length is 9 meters. I'm going to label it like that. The width is 7. She decides the width has to be increased by y meters. The width has to get longer. In other words, this line here has to get bigger. It has to be increased by y meters. She says the new area of the swimming pool will be 63 plus y. Is she correct? Why or why not? Well, let's draw it with the increased area, or with the increased width. So we've got a length of 9 and a width of 7, but she's going to add on y meters. Okay, so the overall area is going to be 9 times 7, which is 63, plus this new area, which has a width of y and a length of 9. 9 times y is 9y. So the overall area is going to be 63 plus 9y. Why? Because that's what it is. So is that equal to this? No, that's 63 plus 1y. There's only 1y there, so that's different. So this is not an answer. This is not an answer. It's one of the no's. And let's see, no, because the area of swimming pool is the sum of 9 times 7. I've got that. 9 times 7 is 63. Sum of 9 times 7 and 9y. Well, I've got that too. Yeah. That is the area of the swimming pool. Let's look at the next one to make sure it's not right also. No, because the area of the swimming pool is the sum of 63 and 7y. It's 63 and 9y. So it's not that. So I'm confident that this is the correct answer. Next problem. An expression is shown. Now we're multiplying. Now we have 3 terms inside the parentheses. Check it out. So now we're going to expand the expression and simplify. I should have used expand as a vocabulary word, but expand means multiply by every term inside the parentheses. That's the distributive property. So we're going to go 3 times 3. That's 9. 3 times 2y. Now 3 times 2y means 3 times 2 times y, because the 2 and the y are multiplying also. So that's 3 times 2 times y. 3 times 2 is 6, and you can't multiply by the y because you don't know what it is. So it's 6y. Look again. 3 times 2y is 6y. And lastly, 3 times 4 is 12. So that's my answer. 9 plus 6y plus 12. Actually, it's not my answer because it says to simplify. And in this case, the 9 and the 12 are both constants. Those can be added together. So let's add those two together. And what's 9 plus 12? 21, that's right. So it's 6y plus 21. That's my actual answer. 6y plus 21. When you're writing your answer, you almost always put the constant last and the terms with variables first. Okay, so long lesson today. I got carried away. So your quick check. Rewrite 3 times x plus 2y plus 4 using the distributive property. Then get it checked out. See you soon.